So what we'll be discussing today, I think we have like about 3 people, so we can actually start the program today. Yes, so I know you guys are familiar with studying or learning how to study. So now I would like to start this session with these quotes from Henry Adams. So how to study session, I hope you can all see the screen. How to study session, starting out right. So, okay, somebody drop a message. Okay, thank you, Mimuna. So, I hope you can see. So, how to study session, starting out right. So, what one knows is youth of little moments. They know enough who know how to learn. So, what you know is actually very little, is very small. For those who really know enough are those people who know how to learn. And just the way I put it to my students, learning how to study is you're learning how to learn, and that is very, very important. That is very, very important when it comes to learning, because learning how to study is learning how to learn, and this is, to me, is the greatest skill you can give yourself or your children. It is one thing to learn, it is another thing to learn how to learn, and that is very important when it comes to acquiring new knowledge. What are those things you need to put into consideration? What is even how to study? What is even learning how to learn? So what are those things, like in terms of the techniques, in terms of the methods you use in the course of learning new things? Today we will be discussing how to learn using, like how to learn, but we are starting from the basics, starting right. If you want to learn, what are those things you need to put into consideration? What are those conditions? What are those criteria you need to put into consideration? We'll be discussing that. You all know that if you want to learn, it is important to evaluate yourself. That is what we're going to be discussing today. We'll be discussing other aspects of learning or learning how to study in our subsequent session of this effective teaching and learning series. Today we'll be learning how to start to study. You understand? Getting to know yourself, which is very important. So before we discuss that, I would like to know, what do you understand by how to study? What do you understand by how to study? Now, so let's give it a definition. How to study includes hints, advice, and techniques for taking notes in class, while you are reading your textbooks in the library and online, or how to prepare for tests, and how to organize your study schedule to get the best results in the shortest amount of time. Now let's actually look at the key points. How to study include hints, advice, and techniques. These are hints, these are advice, these are techniques for taking notes in class. How do you take notes in the class when a teacher is teaching you? How do you take notes? Like, how do you take notes when you're studying personally while you're reading your textbook, either at home or in the library, or you're studying something online? How do you take notes? How to prepare for tests? How do you prepare for tests? How to organize your study schedule to get the best results in the shortest amount of time? When we are talking about how to study, we are talking about all these things. And it is important to get to know that this is what we are talking about, how to study. Now, then how do we start learning how to study? How do we start learning how to study? That is also very important. How do we start learning how to what? How to study? That is very important. Now, so looking at this, learn as though you will never be able to master it. Hold it as if you will be in fear of losing it, according to Confucius. As a student, you need to have this mindset of holding knowledge like a sieve. It is so like it is you hold it so precious like a sieve, you can't afford to lose it. You can't afford to miss it. That is how knowledge will come towards your way. And you should hold it as if you will be in fear of losing it. What you don't appreciate does not stay long. Now, for you to start learning, you need to have this mindset. Now, I know you guys need to pass examination. I know you need to have excellent results. But the goal of learning is for development. The development of your mind. If what you guys are learning now, you cannot talk about it in the next 5 years or 10 years, even you could not remember it word to word, verbatim, you should be able to talk about it. That means the essence of you learning now has been defeated. The goal of you learning now has been defeated. You need to understand that. You should learn as though you will never be able to master it, and hold it as if you will be in fear of losing it. That is Confucius. For every race, there is a starting and finishing point. Without that, there will be no way to determine the winner or the loser. The same applicable to learning how to study. In today's session, we will be discussing the right ways of starting how to study right. That is important. Now there is a beginning and there is an end. But today's class will be focusing on the beginning, which is learning how to study right. How do you begin to study? You understand it? There are reasons to study in every situation and circumstance. And that is very important. Now, how to start out right? Just the way T.S. Eliot said, it is not enough to understand what we ought to be unless we understand what we are, and we do not understand what we are unless we know what we ought to be. So what is it trying to say? It said that it is not enough to understand what we ought to be unless we understand what we are. And we do not understand what we are unless we understand what we ought to be. You can actually get to understand the future. You can actually get to understand what you are to be, what you are to learn, unless you understand what you have. What is your ability? What is your strength? What are your weaknesses when it comes to learning? So the goal of learning is for you to acquire new knowledge. So for you to be able to learn and learn well, for you to be able to study and study well, you should be able to know who you are. You should be able to know your strength as a student. And we do not understand what we are unless we know what we ought to be. And you don't even understand your present status of learning until you know what you want to learn. So in this class, we're going to be making reference to some study skills that are very important. So some study skills that are very important to this class, and I'm going to be discussing them with you guys. We have study skills like reading comprehension. How do you read and understand? How do you read and understand? That is very, very important. So those things, how do you read? We have a couple of study skills. So one of them is, how do you read to understand, your comprehension, and your taking of notes in the class. How do you take notes in the class? So those things are very important. So how do you take notes in the class? How do you take notes in the class? How do you take notes in the library? How do you take notes when you're at home, when you're reading personally? So those things are very important. Now, where are you going to study? Is it in the library? Is it outside the library? So what is the kind of person you are when it comes to being a learner? So what is the best way you can learn? You need to define the purpose of your learning. That is very important to what we're going to be discussing today. So I'm going to be starting from the scratch with you guys. And okay, so I'm going to be starting from the scratch with you guys so that we can be able to discuss all these different learning study skills for you to be able to have a quick grasp and understanding of these different learning skills. Okay. Okay. And just what I've said, I've been able to mention different some learning skills that we'll be discussing in this class, and such as the reading comprehension. Uh, so we're going to be learning all those learning skills. I believe you guys will be learning a lot at the end of today's program. At the end of today's program, that's it. So, okay, come in. So, just the way I've explained the codes of and in this session, I'm going to be teaching you how to evaluate your current level of your studied skills. And that is a necessary step to identify those areas in which you need to concentrate your efforts. You need to identify your studying environment, your learning style, and you need to categorize your school subjects according to how you do well, how you like them or you don't like them. Those things are very important. So now we're going to be keeping scores like we'll be learning reading and comprehension, memory development, time management. Uh, we have library skills. Well, we're also going to be learning computer skills, textbook note-taking, classroom note-taking, library note-taking. We have classroom participation, writing papers or test preparation. All these are very important. And at this beginning, I want you to be able to rate yourself. What is your learning skill like? What is your study skill like? So what is your study skill like? Okay, somebody drop a message. Okay, okay. Let me check that. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, you can. I hope you can see the screen now. I hope you can see the screen now. So now, as I was saying, so we're going to be learning some studying skills. We're going to be learning some we're going to be learning some, and we're going to be starting with an assessment. This session is going to be a practical one. So, okay, let me try to unmute some of you guys. So because we are going to be interacting, okay. Hello, can you all see the screen now? Hello, can you see the screen now? Memuna? Okay. Okay, I think you should be able to see the screen now. Now, we're going to be starting with this. The first assessment we'll be doing in class today, the first assessment in this session, okay. Okay. So the first assessment we'll be doing today is you're going to answer this question, and at the end of the question, I'm going to tell you something. I just want to know your present learning strength. Are you getting me? You can drop your message in the comment section. So the first question is, you're going to be considering whether yes or no. You understand me? And at the end of the day, the total number of yes, just number it 1 to 28. We have 1 to 28. We have 1 to 28 question here. Now, the first one is, I wish I could read faster. If you still have that wish, you tick yes. If you don't have that wish, that you're okay with your reading pace, you tick no. Just get a sheet of paper and do that. The second question is, I go to class, but I don't pay a lot of attention. If that is true, you tick yes. And if it is not true, you tick no. The third question is, I rarely review for tests, but I do spend hours cramming the nights before. You have to be sincere with yourself. Do you understand me? That is the first stage of learning how to study. I rarely review for tests, but I do spend hours cramming the night before. If it is true, I want you to write why, yes, and if it is not true, write no. I think I spend more time studying than I need to. If that is true, tick yes, and if that is not true, tick. Are you guys with me? Okay. So now we are starting our study skills assessment session, because this session is going to be a practical one. After this session, you should be able to know your learning strengths. You should be able to know your learning strengths. Okay, you should be able to know your learning strengths. Please, oh God, okay, let me mute some background noise. Okay.
Sir?
So now, as I was saying, okay, I want you to be able to choose an answer. Are you getting me? If you do sometime, choose yes. If you do sometimes, choose yes. The answer could either be yes or no. The answer could either be yes or no. You have to do this. I usually study with radio and or television on. If it is true, you say yes. If it is no, you say N. You write N. And the sixth question is, I rarely finish all my own work on time. I rarely finish all my own work on time. If your response is yes, write Y. If your response is no, write N. I usually write assigned papers the week or the night before they are due. I usually write assigned paper, that is your assignment, a week or the night, papers the week or the night before they are due. So I think we can go to the next one. I've been able to put this. That is, so we have, the next question is, I read every book at the same speed and in the same way. I read every book at the same speed in the same way. So if your answer is yes, you can actually put Y. If it is no, you can put N. And I am whiz, that is information management whiz, but I can never seem to find the information I need on the internet. That's if you're the type that you're struggling getting information from the internet. So you put yes. If it is no. Now, number 10, I'm overwhelmed with too much homework. So if that is true, you put yes. If that is not true, you put no. I can never complete my reading assignment on time. If that is true, if you have that belief, you should put yes. If it is no, you put no. And I can never complete my reading assignment on time. I can never complete my reading assignment on time. If that is true, you understand it, you put yes. If it is not true, you put no. I always seem to write down the wrong stuff in class. If that is true, you put yes. If that is no, you put no. I frequently forget important assignments and test dates. I frequently forget important assignments and test dates. If that is true, you put Y. If that is false, you put N. I get nervous before exams and do worse than I think I should. I hope you guys are following me. Can I go to the next one? Can I go to the next one? Okay. I hope you guys are following me. Okay. Alima, Memunan, and okay. So the next assessment I want you to do is this. I study for some tests, but I always forget what I studied when I get there. I study for tests, but I always forget. If it is true, you put yes. If it is no, you put nah. I don't have enough time to do well in school and still have a social life. So if that is true, you put yes. If that is false, you put no. When I look at my class notes right before a test, I can't understand them. If that is true, you put yes. If that is no, you put no. I hate to read. If that is true, you put yes. If that is, and 27th, I get marked down on essay test because I don't organize them well. I spend a lot of time on my computer, but it feels like most of it is wasted. That is the last question I want you to answer. I believe you've all answered all these 28 questions because I'm going to tell you the meaning of your answer. And if you don't mind, you can drop a message, a private message, just to tell me your results. Okay, I think we can move on to the next slide. Now, let me tell you the meaning of your answer. What your answer, what it means. So we need to interpret your evaluation of yourself. Okay, number 15. Okay, let me note that. Let me check it. Is that no number 15? Okay. So, oh, okay. Okay. Okay, this is number 14. Okay. Now, okay. Let me get number, okay, there is no 15 and some other numbers there. So let me get the number for you so we can be able to complete the assessment. That is very important. Okay. Now you can just listen to me. You're going to get the number. Just listen to me. Listen to me. I may not be able to project it from number 15, from number 15 upward. Number 15 question is, I frequently must reread all passage or 3 times before I understand them. I frequently must reread all passage 2 or 3 times before I understand them. So in case you can't see my screen sharing, don't worry, I paused it, but just listen to me. So we actually have that, and the next is the 16th question is, when I finish reading a chapter, I usually don't understand much of it. When I finish reading a chapter, I usually don't remember much of it. So that is 16. And 17, I try to take down everything the teacher says, but usually can't understand. but usually can't understand any of my notes. Okay. Number 17, I try to take down everything the teacher says, but usually can't understand any of my notes. So if the answer, your answer could either be yes or no. Number 18, I can only study for about 15 minutes before I get bored or distracted. I can only study for about 15 minutes before I get bored or distracted. I can only study for about 15 minutes. That's number 18. Number 19, when I'm working on paper or reports, I spend most of the time in the thesaurus in my lab. Are you getting me? Your thesaurus is your dictionary or your vocabulary textbook where you get to know the meaning of words. So when you're working on a paper, it may be an assignment, something like that. If you're the type that you spend most of your time trying to look up the words in the dictionary, so you can actually write yes. I always seem to study the wrong stuff. I always seem to study the wrong stuff. So if that is true, you can write yes, you can click yes or no. And 21, I don't use any kind of calendar. I don't use any kind of calendar. That's 21. I don't use any kind of what? Of calendar. That's 21. So I think we've all gotten this to this stage. And we can move on to 22. We can move on to 22, which you can see on your screen. Okay. I study for some tests, but I always forget what I study when I get there. I don't have enough time to do well in school and still have a social life. I can't figure out the important points in my textbook. When I look at my class notes right before a test, I can't understand them. That's 25. So we just need to, I think we've been able to go through this. So can I move on? I hope you've gotten most of this thing. Please kindly drop a message from the chat session so that I can move on. So we get to the okay. Getting a message, okay. Okay, thanks. Someone has gotten it. We can actually move on. Now let's do an interpretation of these because I told you you're going to be evaluating yourself before you start studying. Now you can see the meaning of different numbers you've chosen. What do your answers mean? If you answered yes to questions, all the questions you answered yes to, so these are the interpretation. If you answer yes to question 2, 5, and 18, you need to work on your concentration. You need to work on your concentration. In the subsequent part of these how to study, I think that is going to be another session on how to study session because this session is divided into effective teaching and effective learning. So we'll be discussing how you conquer your short concentration span. The second one, if you choose yes for number 1, number 8, number 15, number 16, number 24, or number 26, your reading and your comprehension skills are holding you back. Your reading and your comprehension skills are holding you back. If you chose yes for 13, 3, 14, 22, you need to learn the proper way to study for tests and how to reduce test anxiety. How to reduce test anxiety. That is very important. And we have the next one. If you chose yes for number 4, number 6, number 10, number 11, number 13, number 21, number 23, your organization skills are letting you down. Your organization skills are letting you down. And if you choose yes for number 7, number 19, number 27, you are spending a lot of time writing papers, but you haven't learned proper research organization skills because research and organization skills is one of those skills you need to learn when it comes to learning how to study. Also, we have if you chose number 9, number 28, you need to earn your computer skills. And if you chose number 12, 17, 20, or 25, you need a better system for taking notes in class. You need a better system for taking notes in class. You need a better system for taking notes in class. I hope you got in this. I know you will have discovered some things about yourself. You understand it? You're studying, and that is one of the essence of this session. That's the what? One of the essences of this session. Do you get me? Somebody has dropped a message. Let me check that. So, okay. Okay. Now, so I hope you've learned some things about the way you learn. You understand it? Concentration is one of your study skills you need to learn. Reading and comprehension skills you need to learn it. You need to learn how to the proper way to study for tests and how to reduce test anxiety. Some students get scared. Some students are not well organized. Even when they are studying, when they're in class, they don't know how to organize their notes and spending a lot of time writing paper but haven't learned proper research. And at the same time, you need to hone your computer skills, how you deal with your phone, how you relate with your gadgets when it comes to getting information online. So we can then we can move on. And okay, now I'm going to be for this session, I'm going to be doing more of talking. I'm going to be doing more of talking for this session, and so you may not see what I'm actually saying, but you just try to listen to me. Try to listen to me. Okay. Okay. Now we have this. Okay. Now, so the next I'm going to be talking about is this. Okay. So it doesn't mean, and let me give an interpretation of this. It does not as important as how many years your answers you had, as it's how many were grouped. You understand? They were actually grouped for different purposes. But though 10 or more years answers should certainly indicate big problems in more than a single area. If you have like 10 or more years, you understand it, answers, you should certainly try to work on your study skill. That is very important. Now let's actually focus more on a particular studying skill. How do you evaluate yourself? Maybe as regards reading or as regards. So let's go into a little more detail and get an even firmer handle on the current state of your studying skills, on the current state of your studying skills. Okay. So now before we do that, I want you to take a separate piece of paper and rate yourself on each, like I'm going to be mentioning different studying skills, and I want you to rate yourself within A to C. You understand? You give yourself 2 points for A, you give yourself 1 point for B, and 0 point for C. I'm going to be listing some studying skills. I'm going to be listing some studying skills, and just try to grade yourself in that way I've mentioned. Okay. In the way I've actually mentioned, in terms of like A, give yourself 2 points. B, give yourself 1 point. C, give yourself give yourself 0 points. I'm going to be listing those studying skills that I expected from you as students. Now, so the first one, and you should give yourself overall rating. You understand it? Like at the end of this exercise, you should be able to give yourself an overall rating. Now, the first is your initial evaluation. How do you see yourself when it comes to study? Are you an A student, like you're really studying well and you're getting your results? So choose B if you know you are not, you are at the middle, and C if you know it is very low. And I'm going to be talking about different studying skills that are expected of you, and you should grade yourself. The second one I'm going to be talking about is reading. How is your reading skill? So give yourself A if you know that it is excellent. Give yourself B if you know it's average, and give yourself C. You understand it? Now we have memory development. That is the third one. Do the same the way you have done for reading. Memory development. And the next one is time management. Time management. So I want you to grade yourself. Time management. Time management. And the next is textbook note taking. Textbook note taking. Grade yourself. And the next is your classroom participation. Grade yourself, A to C. Remember, A is 2 points, B is 1 point, and C is 0. Because at the end of the day, we are going to calculate everything. So this is an evaluation. This is how you learn how to study right. You need to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, how will you be able to know the best way you can learn? Now, basic library skills. Do you have the basic library skills? And the next is computer skills. The next is library note taking. Library note taking. Library note taking. And the next is writing papers. Writing papers. The next is test preparation. Now, I want you to give your overall study skill level. Is it 2? Is it B? Is it C? Like A, B, C. In case you don't understand what I've just said, kindly drop a message so you can just let me know what is going on. So before I move on to the next one, kindly drop a message so I can move on. So that you're going to grade yourself. A is 2, B is 1, and C is 0. C is what? 0. And you're going to calculate everything at the end of that. And I said you should be able to calculate everything. I think we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12, something like 12, or I think I've mentioned like 12. So now you need to grade yourself. So you need to grade yourself. If your overall rating is 18 or more, give yourself an A. That means your overall learning studying. So that means you have an A. So if it is 13 to 17, if your overall score is from 13 to 17, give yourself a B. And if 12 or less, give yourself a C. This is your assessment of your study habits as they exist right now. Your assessment is a practical. You may share it with me after this session. Do you understand me? Or during this session through private chats. But you can keep it to yourself. But we just want you to know your the assessment of your study habits as they exist right now. Now let's review each of these areas, giving you insights as to what excellent, good, or fair really mean. You understand it? So you have to be honest with yourself. So this Evaluation will give you a benchmark from which we'll be able to measure your improvement after we've completed this studying session. It's a long session. We are not finishing it today. So we'll be continuing next class, next series. Okay, now let's move on. Let's move on. Now let's talk about reading. Reading is another another studying skill that you need to take serious, and that is very important. That is what's very important. And let me share some things with you as regards that. Okay, I already have two messages. Sim, you have to talk about students who have never visited the library. Okay, we have students like that, never overall mine is be okay. Okay, I've seen it, Memuna. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to talk about that. There is going to be a session on that, how to use the library, who never visited the library before, and how do you develop yourself. And okay, let me share this with you. Let me just teach you some skills, some reading skills, and let me talk about reading, and that is very important. Okay, okay, we can move. Okay, okay. So you're reading. Okay. Now, okay. Now, reading skill evaluation. Reading is one of those skills you need to what? You need to have, like reading. You understand it? Anytime I'm teaching reading, I tell my student, reading is the ability to read, understand, and interpret. There is no course you want to study. You understand? There's nothing you want to do in life. If you don't know how to read, you need quick attention. Do you understand me? And reading is not just about being able to read words. I think all of you, you've gone, you're above the stage of learning how to put letters together. Now, the major problem is now to understand and to interpret whatever you have read. You understand it? So reading is made up of three important components. The first one is speed, comprehension, and recall. Comprehension and recall are related. Are you getting me? And you can sacrifice your speed for your comprehension and recall. So we are going to be doing in-class assessments now on your reading skill, and I'm going to be doing some, like, I'll be sharing like a page article. You're going to read and comprehend, and you're going to write. I'll give you time. After reading, you're going to write the information you've gotten from it. You understand it? Speed has to do with how fast you read, and comprehension is ability to process whatever you're reading in your mind. That is what we call mind processing. Being able to interpret the message. When you read on paper, you're going to process it in your mind, conceptualization of what is on paper. And a lot of people that have challenges with recalling, they have problem with comprehension. Comprehension and recalling are related. When you understand something, it is easier for you to be able to recall it. It is easier for you to be able to recall it. And that we are going to be doing some exercises on that. And I'm going to give you a passage you're going to read, and I'm going to give you time. It's going to be an average of like 5 minutes or thereabouts. So, and the instruction is basically, you're going to summarize what you've read. In 5 minutes time, I'm going to take it away. After 5 minutes, I'm going to take it away, and you're going to summarize what you've read, and you send it to me as message. I want to test your reading skill to see how fast when it comes to reading. So let me, okay, I'm coming. So Okay. So let me share this with you. Okay. 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 Now, I hope you can you see the screen? I hope you can all see the screen. So now you're going to read this passage. Okay. I have a message here. Okay. Okay. Okay, yes. So you're going to read this passage. You have average of 5 minutes to read this passage. And after reading this passage for 5 minutes, I'm going to take it away. You understand? So I want you to know, I want to know how you get it. I want you to summarize the message in each paragraph. Write them out. You understand it? So your time has started. So read this passage is about 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can read it now. Your time has started. By 6:12, it should be done. In 5 minutes time, read it. I'm testing your comprehension. It's an assessment of your comprehension. Sorry, I have to. This is the second part of the comprehension passage. So This is the second part of the comprehension passage, and okay. I think I've given you guys enough time to be able to study the passage. So now, if you can read the material straight through and accurately summarize what you've read, all in less than 2 minutes, give yourself an A. If you have some problem reading and understanding the text, but you are able to complete the assignments in less than 4 minutes, give yourself a B. If you're unable to complete the assignments in time, remember what you read or produce accurate note at all, give yourself a C. I know studying that you will have noticed something about your reading ability. So you'll have noticed something about your reading ability. You can keep it to yourself. You can tell me, you can share it with me. So I just want you to know your present states. So when you want to start to study, you have to learn, you need to do your self-evaluation, considering different studying skills before you can actually come up with the best studying style for yourself. You can't just start studying with the assumption that we believe we have a lot to learn from this, because learning how to study so is also as important. Now we can actually, I hope you can get that. So let's move on a little bit. Now okay, let me see your retention. Let me do an exercise on your retention to see how you remember your retention. Retention is part of I'm going to show you a number, and that number is we have 15 digits of number. You understand? I'm giving you 10 seconds. I'm going to count 1 to 10. If you can remember 12 or more digits in correct order, you give yourself an A. If you can remember from 8 to 11, you give yourself B. If you can remember less than 7, you give yourself C. I hope you're ready. I'm about to share it. And when I share it, I'm going to count 1 to 10. 1 to 10. I hope you guys are with me. Okay? Let me share it. I'm going to count 1 to 10. So you can see the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. So how many can you remember? How many can you remember from those words, from those number that I just shared with you guys? How many can you remember? How many can you remember from what I've just shared with you guys? You can drop a response and let me try to unmute you guys, unmute up. Just that if you know you're aware there's a lot of background noise. So how many can you remember from those numbers? How many can you remember? Can you remember anything from that 15 number? Okay. Okay. So, okay, you can remember 10, 10, okay, 6, okay, okay. Now, you should know that is on your retention. That is on your retention. You can always try that. Give yourself 10 seconds, get like 15 number and try to grab it within a short period of time. I'm going to give you 12 nonsense words from a language that is made up, are you getting me, with their definition. You're going to study these for 60 seconds, that is 1 minute, and I'm going to ask how it is spelled and its definition, how you can remember the spelling and the definition. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you're ready. Okay, I'm sharing it now. So that is 1 minute. In 1 minute time, I'm going to take it off. You give me the spelling and you give me the definition of these words. You give me the spelling and the definition of these words. Okay. So my time has started. So try to write out those words. Write them out. How many can you remember with their definition? The spelling and the definition. Try to write them out. I hope you're able to get most of the words. I hope you're able to get most of the words. How many can you remember from those words, the spelling Okay, okay, Mimuna. Okay, okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What about others? How many can you remember? How many can you remember from those words? So now, if you accurately list 9 or more words and definition, and that includes spelling the new words correctly, give yourself an A. If you get up to 9, give yourself an A. If you listed from 5 to 8 words and their definition, you understand, give yourself B. And if you're unable to remember at least 4 words and their definition, give yourself C. Give yourself a C. You understand? So I think this will give you an idea of your reading skill, of your reading. Reading is an integral part of how to study, of studying, and you need to know how you get in information. So, of course, we start a little bit late, but I just want to round up this session. Let's briefly talk about time management, time management, so we can be able to. I hope you guys have really learned something. Wow, who is this person? So, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's really cool. You really try, actually. So, yeah, okay, Mimuna, you really learned a lot. Okay, now let's briefly talk about time management. So, because I told you that this aspect of is we are doing evaluation, starting right when it comes to studying. So, time management skill evaluation. This can be evaluated on 2 yardstick: ability to break down assignments and ability to complete tasks in efficient manner. Ability to complete tasks in efficient manner. We used to condition to judge your time management, that whether you manage your time well or not. Ability to break down your assignments, that is, I have like 3 or 4 assignments on one particular assignment. I'm going to do this from this time to this time. Ability to complete your tasks in an efficient manner. And you need to ask yourself some question when it comes to your assignments. We have this. So if you feel you use your time wisely and efficiently, give yourself an A. If you know there are times you simply run out of time, give yourself a B. If you can't tell time, give yourself a C. And for library skills, library skills, there are a lot of things I would like to talk about that I think I'm going to hold it on to next session. The computer skills and the note-taking skills. Let me just briefly talk about the note-taking and we end up this session so without taking more of your time. Now, what I just want is that you guys will be listening to me more. That is, I'm going to be talking to you as regards this more so that you can be able to get this. You just listen to me. Now, so when we are talking about note taking, there are different areas. You can take notes at home while studying your book or your textbook, in the class or at the library or online. So different arenas demand different method of note taking. When you're taking notes from your textbook, when you're studying at home or you're personally, the first thing you need to do is to identify the main ideas in whatever you're studying. And the second is to rephrase the information in your own words. When you identify the main idea, rephrase it in your own words, as well as you need to capture the details with which you were unfamiliar. Are you getting me? So try to put it in a way that you're familiar with them. Now, take brief, concise notes in a separate notebook as you read. You should write down questions and answers to ensure your mastery of the material. So, that is maybe those questions you need to ask yourself after studying your textbook. You understand? I'm still going to be teaching you some different reading skills, different reading strategies or techniques. In class preparation is the key to class participation. For you to be able to take notes well in class, you need to be well prepared for that class. Now, how do you prepare for a class? By reading material to be covered before class. You will be able to concentrate and absorb the teacher's interpretation and points. And you need to read the topic. That is why you ask the next topic before. You understand? You ask your teacher the next topic so you can get prepared. If you have any question, you can be able to ask. And you should be able to use a topical short sentence approach or your own shorthand. When you're in class, you write in shorthand, especially when your teacher is dictating or explaining. You can't get everything in full words. You understand it? And your notes should be sequential, following the teacher's lecture, like it should be accordingly. Review your notes at the first opportunity following the class. Fill in the blanks and add your own thoughts. After the class, if there's anything you're missing, try to get a friend who has gotten some part that you didn't get to help you with those parts that you didn't get. That is one of those are the ways you can take notes in class. And in the library or online, what is the difference between taking notes at the library or working at home with library books or those you found online versus your own textbook? You understand it? Sooner or later, you shall have to return library books. So if you're allowed to make them out at all, you understand it? It's like as if you're reading your textbook. Do you understand me? It's like, unless when you're checking something online, you need to get a book beside you and try to write out points. Don't assume you've gotten everything. You understand it? You get highlighter, you understand it? You put those things down, you put those information. And how do you evaluate yourself? You understand? So I want you to ask yourself this question. Are your note-taking skills sufficient to summarize the necessary data from your textbook and capture the key points from classroom lectures and discussion? You have to be sincere with yourself. Do they allow you to get the information you need from a variety of sources? Prepare detailed outline and write good papers. That is, when you read your textbook, when you get something online, the information you get online, are they sufficient for you to be able to do your assignment? You understand? Now, if you know you have your answers to all these are yes, you can give yourself an A. If you feel you are deficient in any of these, give yourself a B. You understand? If notes are what you pass to your friends in class, give yourself a C. That is, you get notes from your friends. You understand it? So, in the subsequent part of our studying session, we're going to be looking at other aspects of the learning, other aspects of your study skills. Now, to round up the class, I would like you to understand something, that learning how to study is as important as what you want to study. If you have the right material, you have the best teacher, you understand it, helping you with your learning. But if you don't know how to study, there's a lot of disadvantage. You don't only need how to study for your schoolwork, for your examination. You also need it to survive in life, to be successful in life. Because at a point or the other, you will have cause to study things around you. And at this younger age, at this stage of your life, you need to be conscious of how you study. Learning how to study is learning how to learn, and is one skill you can actually give yourself. Studying is not just studying for studying's sake. You must learn how to study the right way. Today's session is basically on evaluation, learning how to study and starting right. You are not just studying because you just want to go and study. How are you studying? That is very important, because you don't get frustrated after studying and you're not getting the results. So in case you have any question, you can chat me up on WhatsApp. That is 070-6530-0449. You can do that on our Facebook. I can respond, and you can drop your comments, how you feel about the class, because the time has really gone and I would not want to waste your time any longer. You understand? So you can drop your comments, your observation, your feedback as regards to today's session. We really appreciate your coming around. For those who really participated in this from the beginning to the end, we really appreciate that. Thank you very much.